Aloha, everyone. We haven't done this in so long. It feels like it's such a blessing to all be together. And thank you so much for being here. I'm Kamaile Puaoi, and I am Wellness with Mana, and I am a part of, hi, Kupi Ilani. I am a part of a large, beautiful team of amazing human beings that come together on a weekly basis to really share about the beauty of the medical advancements that are taking us into not only better health, but obviously better, longer living lives so that we can enjoy the health that we are attaining and making choices to do right now. So I'm actually going to do this a little bit differently, and I'm going to allow for a couple people to unmute themselves. And we are going to be going over today about what we represent on a regular basis, which is our anti-aging activation line. It's all together, put together. It's called the Tri-Synergizer. And I'm going to ask a few people here who has actually been taking the Tri-Synergizer. If you want to unmute yourself, I want to know. Yay, Carrie, please share.
Oh, wow, it's me already.
I know, I love it. How long have you been on the Tri-Synergizer, honey?
Ever since they introduced it, it's been about almost 2 years now, and I got to be honest, like I had to roll into it slowly because it gave me a lot of energy, and I already have a lot of energy. So I took it for a couple of months, the Tri-Synergizer, and I just kind of tried to work it out, and then I actually stopped taking the NAD. But what I noticed when I stopped taking the NAD was the clearer vision and the sharper mind and the remembering the numbers and this and that with my condos that I take care of went away. And so I thought, wow, I need to get a handle on this, and I need to, I'll just start out. I started out slow with 1 NAD, and I made sure I drank enough water because I love to drink Axio. And so what I realized was I wasn't drinking enough enough water, so I was getting a headache. And so when I started to pay attention to what I was doing, and realizing that I needed it for my sharper memory, I decided I needed to continue to take it. So I take 1 a day with my my other activators, except for I take the NAD at lunch, and then I take my other 2 pills, the NRF1 and the NRF2 at dinner time. Just works for me.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for a year now, and sometimes I take 2. I just listen to my body. Like if I'm going to be doing a lot of exercising and sweating, which I do, a few times a week, I'll only take 1 because I don't drink enough water. I drink my Axio and I drink the 40 ounce. So I have to sit down and literally make myself drink a plain 1 of water. So
yep.
Anyway, I really love it. It's been wonderful.
I know. So what I'm hearing too is it's been giving you energy, definitely clarity of mind. It helps with your active lifestyle, for sure, right? And you've been activated for quite some time, but adding the Tri-Synergizer and the NAD has been an improvement in your life, right?
Yeah, I just want to say, I've been activating for 8 years. Started with the NRF2, and then as our company evolved with the NRF1, I started taking the NRF1, and I didn't feel anything from that.
Yeah,
I didn't have any extra energy or anything like that. I didn't have a slump. My husband had extra energy from that. We had to monitor him because the energy, I want to tell you, isn't like spastic. It's like a better energy for your day. And sometimes that could be too much for some people where they can't go to sleep. So the energy that I'm speaking of is just more vitality, a better vitality.
Ooh.
Energy,
I love that.
where I have enough of that. But yeah, I found that 1 is usually good enough for me. So
awesome. And I love that we're all unique, and I really thank you for that. And for those of you that are listening for the first time to either the recording of this or actually joining us for the first time, we will get into all of those technical words like NRF1, NRF2, and NAD. It's really unique. But before we do, I just want to ask, Kehaulani, I know that you have 2 young ones at home. how has activation really changed up your life? Because I also know that you're extremely healthy. You make really conscious decisions about what's being put into not only your body, but then also that of the kids and your whole family, really. So, can you just share for a quick minute before I get started into this and share a little, you know, a little takeaway from your experience, please?
Yeah, of course. Aloha, everyone, and thanks for having me. Yeah, so kind of going off what Carrie said, the Trice Energizer has been a huge breakthrough for me and my health. I struggled with things that I kind of would dismiss because I'm young and I'm healthy and I'm pretty active and all that stuff. Um, but it wasn't until I just took a deeper look at, the bombarding of toxic overload in our environment that even with my lifestyle, I was still running into some issues. So ever since being on the Trice Energizer, about 2 years now, I've had huge shifts in my health and continue to do so. But I really love what we have because I'm able to offer it to my kids too. Like Kamaile said, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. And of course, we can't make any claims on any of our products. And we always say to ask your doctor or provider if you're not comfortable with your personal care with your children, because these products are not recommended for kids. But I just, knew with my own knowledge and connecting the dots of what's actually in our products that these were going to be really good for them. So my son, a lot of you know the craziness of how schooling's been going the last year-ish, over a year, which is way too long. But he started kindergarten in 2020 and a lot of it was online. So that was extremely challenging for us because he already deals with a lot of behavioral health issues. So our Axio, which Kamaile will probably share a little bit more about, and Carrie talked about it, has been a major game changer for us. It's helped him get through school, kind of sit down and focus when he did need to be online. It's an attitude like adjustment, it just gives him a boost. And we don't really drink juice here or soda, so that's like a treat for them. That's always refreshing, and it just makes me feel good because there's all good stuff in it. So what it's really doing is just activating your brain, kind of like what the Trice Energizer is doing within our bodies. So that is huge. And then we have other amazing products like our probiotic, the omegas that are really helpful. Even my 3-year-old is learning to take things either crushed, blended in a smoothie, or chew. Some of them, they chew it. But they love it. And I just love that they love to be involved, and it makes them feel good that at such a young age, they're learning how to take care of their health. And then also our daily wellness immune boosting drink has been huge because it's so essential nowadays in, taking care of our immune health. So those are kind of like our daily things. And I just feel like we're going to be doing this for a long time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And one of the reasons why I wanted to open up the call this today with a little bit of, background and testimony from anywhere from moms, younger moms with younger children to, I have, people, like myself, I feel like I'm middle-aged. I'm not even middle-aged yet, according to the studies. We should be living to about 120, in a 56-year-old mind and body. And I'll get to that in a minute. But I also want to know that it's also affected, and we have calls actually on a regular basis every Wednesday where we share a little bit more about people's personal testimony. So if you're ever interested in finding out a little bit more and that really touches your heart and actually speaks to your heart as far as, getting some background and some really third-party validation, we have had, I have people that are dealing with MS to ADHD to, diabetes, diabetic conditions, and it's really improving the quality of their life overall. So I thank you, my guest, for just being on the spot. As I move into a little bit more science, I will share just a little bit more about myself. I'm Kamaile Pu'oi. I'm a Hawaiian health practitioner. I've been a practitioner, gosh, for the last 18 years now. So when I first came into contact with, being invited to listen to this as you are today, I literally had my arms crossed, you guys. I was like, no, you can't really tell me much more. I already have not only things growing in my garden down below, but then I have, a plethora of beautiful supplements that I've very well researched, in my cupboards that I was actually taking, because I wanted to make sure that I was doing the best for my body, as well as, the nutrition that I was getting in. But I had reached a point in my life where I feel like I was bankrupt in all areas. I was emotionally depleted from a failing relationship. I just had a new baby. I was giving him all the nutrients and I wasn't taking too much for myself. So I wasn't really looking after my health, which obviously depletes our mental and emotional health. So when I say bankrupt, I was really, truly, felt like I was searching for something. And when I went to listen to the information, I didn't necessarily go with an open mind and an open heart, but there's certain things that I'm going to reveal today that hopefully you will lean into just as I did. And I went, wow, I really should listen up, because what I thought was enough, which was supplementing what I was deficient in, truly could be enhanced and enhance the quality of my life. I took a chance, and I am here 2.5 years later, and I can kid you not, I have had the best of testimonies, just emotionally, physically, financially, the aches and pains in my bodies, the plantar fasciitis that I've dealt with, really subsided to where I could move through life, enjoying life, instead of just continually feeling like I was below water. So here I am today. This is just my passion, because I've been in Hawaiian health for so long, that I'd love to share. And we love inviting people to listen to my version of what's going on in your body. And so I'll share my screen now. And let's see here. All right, there we go. Let me just minimize this here. So put in the chat, I can't see it, but put in the chat, you guys, just to participate in who actually, on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being, least likely, 5 being the greatest, where are you in actually living by this statement? We always say, like, let's build wellness rather than treating disease, but what truly are we doing to make that a reality in our lives? Are we being as proactive as we can? I thought I was. There's a lot of people on my team, including chiropractors and naturopaths, who people who juiced every day, who thought they were doing the best that they could, until we leaned in, like I said, to some of the information that you're about to hear. So let me advance here and show you who we are. So I get so proud to say that I partnered with a company called LifeVantage. We have been on the scene as far as Nutrigenomics goes for, gosh, the last 12 years now this summer. I'm so proud to say that. And that's in this format. We were once on the shelves of GNC and other high health and other places where it was just another bottle comparing, itself to maybe vitamin C, and people didn't really understand it. But when it came to a head in about 2005, when Dr. McCord and his doctors, that his team of doctors, that they were looking at why we age, and really found some really amazing discoveries, not only in 1969 that led him down this path, but then again in 2003, he really understood how to, what's called, activate our bodies through our cellular pathways, so that we're no longer supplementing, but we're now able to activate and really turn on and flip on switches within our body. So what happened was in 2005, remember that show, Primetime, ABC Primetime Report, and John Quinones, he would go in to debunk companies, and he wanted to do that with a big bang. And what came out was actually really remarkable, and it actually blew the company wide open to everybody wanting to know. And if you haven't seen that video, I strongly urge you to do it. Do so after this call. It is really amazing. It's 5 minutes of your day, and it is very impactful. And we'll learn how impactful that has been in the health community and where health is going now and is currently now, especially with LifeVantage. So here we are. We're going to be talking about, like I mentioned before, and like some of our guests in the beginning were mentioning, is our Protandim Tri-Synergizer. So we're going to be going into, again, the concept of aging, or anti-aging, I should say, through the lens of activating. And this is an all-natural product, so it's been coined and really termed and really developed into a word what now that we call nutrigenomics. I kind of like to say, compare it to, instead of pharmaceuticals, we're now taking nutraceuticals. So that's how clearly effective it can be on some major illnesses and diseases. And I'll show you how that's documented in the Institute of Medical Health, so library. So I'd like to mention this real quickly. This is our world today. Too much electronics, the EMFs, the stress coming from, we're still living in the, the aftermath of clearly a huge pandemic, and still being affected by it, honestly. A lot of times there's not enough time in most of our busy days, so we're not eating at home or properly or from the land like we like to. Our friend Daisy always shares a call on Friday mornings. If you'd like to ever listen into her story, it's very powerful. And she always says there's just too much month at the end of the money. And a lot of people are just stressed. And so, and I laugh because this mom here looks like a lot of moms that I know and that I associate with. I have a 6-year-old here in my house, and he and I, often have these type of days, I feel like. So this all, when we start to understand how we can actually go within to change the energy or the mana or the vibration and the vibrancy of how everything is actually internally working in our benefit, when we can go in and change that, we then start to have to look at what is the root cause of all of the discord or dis-ease that is going on within our bodies. So what Dr. McCord found is, when looking at why we age, is he found that we're rusting from the inside out. Just like this car is rusting in this, woodsy area here, and it's no longer going to shine up or probably run the way that it needed to because it's gotten to a place of oxidative demise, or the demise of ourselves. We are trying to avoid this. So how do we do that? I'd like to, before we go into that, I'd like to really show, if you like to read things, this is what oxidative stress says. It's an imbalance between the production of our free radicals, okay, due to the numerous daily assaults that we're getting from all over. I mean, things like I mentioned, the cell phone towers, the foods that we eat, the processed foods, the chemicals that we oftentimes don't even know that's in our products, such as our hair care, our skin care, even our cereals have been noted and actually broadcast that we have to watch out for things such as glyphosate. So all of these things, I mean, it would take, it seems like an army to just go through your day trying to research everything to make sure, what do we stay away from in order to not be bombarded by the true amounts of free radicals that are hurting our cells. So let's take a look at that in a visual context. You have a beautiful apple here. It's comparative to a beautiful normal cell in our bodies. You leave it on the counter for just a few moments, actually a couple of minutes, maybe sometimes a couple of hours, and it starts to brown. So that reaction is actually called oxidative stress. It's when oxygen molecules start to actually try to pair up, and there's excess of that, and that's what's happening to our cells. These unpaired oxygen molecules then, start to attack. And that is known as free radicals. What we don't want to happen is just like that car, we don't want this demise of our cell to happen, because that is indicative of clearly larger illnesses and diseases. When the cell splits off, we're talking about cancer. When we, start to lose our cells, we're talking about cognitive abilities, starting to diminish. So all of this, we want to get back, if we can, to that beautiful, happy, normal looking and functioning cell. So as a nutrigenomics coach, as somebody who's been coaching in the Hawaiian health field for a really long time, of course, diet is first and foremost going to be my go-to. We definitely want to be eating foods that are rich in amino acids and proteins and antioxidants, cruciferous foods, sulfur-rich foods. All of these are going to be great. I often joke, you can't sit on the couch and drink beer and eat Cheetos and not exercise and just assume that, you're going to be this fit, goddess, or, hero. So you have to put an active, conscious, effort in what we're putting into our bodies. But we also learn that we can't eat enough to supplement and to actually take those, get this, 300 sextillion amount of free radicals bombarding our bodies and our cells on the daily. Okay, 300 sextillion amount of free radicals. And so we can't consume enough. I mean, this is a small comparison, but we did the math. Friends of ours in our company did the math. This doesn't even touch what we would actually need to combat the amount of free radicals that are actually causing us to age, which is causing us to not be in the healthiest position, to not, ward off like we used to be able to ward off illnesses, diseases, bruises, cuts, even repair from our workouts. So what do we do? Well, this 1-to-1 ratio we learned doesn't work. So this one blueberry to canceling out one free radical is literally compared to putting out a blazing fire of inflammation within our body with a little Dixie cup of water. So this is what we do, guys. We are going to talk about it today, and it's called activation, like I had mentioned before. And we're no longer supplementing our deficiencies, as we're going to learn in a quote later by one of our doctors, but we're actually activating our pathways. So let's take a look at how that happens. Okay, imagine this beautiful little yellow cell. This is, we call it the little yellow activator. It's actually communicating directly to the cell. So instead of going in the back door, as nutritionists and researchers and scientists say that nutrition and supplements do, they go in the back door. We can only hope that our gut is set up successfully and healthy, and our microbiome is working to its fullest potential to even absorb all of those yummy nutrients that we hope people are taking in. But as we noticed before, a lot of our busy schedules don't allow for that, right? So even if that were the case, we still wouldn't be doing the same amount. It would go in that back door and we would lose a lot of that nutrition or supplementation. But where we have found the new medical advancement is in activating. So again, going straight to the cell, it rings the doorbell, if you will, it lets it in, literally flips on switches depending on which combination of herbs we're talking about. And the first one we're going to discuss is our flagship product, and it's called NRF2. That's the pathway that it activates to turn on our body's ability to make millions of antioxidants per second per cell. Woohoo! So we finally have something that's going to help to combat all of that stress that's going on that we talked about earlier. So here's what it does. Look at this, you guys. That's why I was like, you can't tell me nothing. I already take all of this or know about it. And turmeric, it's growing in my garden. Milk thistle was in my cupboard. Green tea in my cupboard. Bacopa was the only one I was unaware of and not taking. And ashwagandha was a daily for me to help with mood and brain function. And what happens is when Dr. McCord and his doctors found out this perfect, beautiful, synergistic blend of microdosed herbal formulation, what they found was instead of it affecting our, our ability to access this pathway by 3%, by 1%, sometimes less than 1%, 1,800 times more effective does it actually go into our pathway. And what it does is it increases our big three. And our big three, I like to say, is our master antioxidants. They're the regulators basically of our immune system, because they help to fight off and actually gobble up. They've shown little studies where they literally gobbles up these free radicals that are floating around damaging our cells. So when we can increase glutathione, which is at the bottom of the top three, by 300%, you guys. Catalase sits in the middle, 54%, and superoxide dismutase, SOD, by 30% within 30 days. Oh my goodness. Our bodies are healing better. They're feeling better. The inflammation has usually gone down. And what we can claim, we can't claim any medical claims, but what we can claim is that we reduce that oxidative stress, that rusting from the inside out, by 40% within 30 days on average. So if everybody could mute themselves, that'd be great. Thank you. And that is huge. It is noted also that by about 120 days, we've reduced our oxidative stress by 70%. And I'm sure that it just keeps on going. I'm definitely one, because this is all natural and it actually both upregulates and downregulates our genetic expression to heal on a cellular level. Because it's all natural and it's going, it's actually going in almost like food or a big, beautiful salad would. I'm definitely not going to be one that's not going to ever take this again. It's certainly been a benefit greatly in my life. So I'd like to share with everybody, and I want you to take again another, tell me in the chat, how many of these on the right-hand side can you note and recognize that the 1 in 5 persons, just pick 5 people that are close to you, how many of these symptoms are actually affecting your circle of influence? I kid you not. Upon looking on that, it's got to be at least 4 for me that I know of, if not 5. I just recently lost my mom to cancer last year. I mean, there's so many different, stories that I come in with, come close to, that I don't want to hear. And this is why we have invited you to listen to this call. When we can take these these symptoms of all of these neurological, cardiovascular, multi-systems, respiratory, gastrointestinal, joints and skin, when we can look at all of those and realize that on pubmed.gov, where you can do your own research, they note that the root cause of all of these illnesses and diseases that you see here, in fact, root cause of over 250 illnesses and diseases is oxidative stress. Then you can kind of put the dots together like Kehaulani was mentioning earlier. It is significantly important to make sure that we are activating and not just supplementing. This, again, is the forward-thinking future of where not only are we going to go now, but, and I'll show you in a second what we can also activate, and what we hope to activate in the future is just limitless, right? We're limitless. So, did it catch the eye? This research that was done by Dr. McCord in 2003 was really blown wide open in 2005 by some of these amazing universities. Yes, it did. Not only did it catch the attention, but they wanted to find out about doing independent studies. We have over 31, or we have over 26 listed, definitely 31 independent studies that are up and published on Protandim Nrf2 alone. in the beginning days, there were very few research and published papers up on PubMed.gov. Now there's over 14,000 of those because of the technology that we're looking to do. The amazing thing is that Protandim has a patented licensing to actually for this beautiful formulation, and there's nothing out there like it. They've tried to duplicate what we have in pharmaceutical blends, but because it's not all natural and doesn't go up and down and move within our bodies like yummy salad would or yummy nutrition would, it definitely has almost an adverse effect. So Protandim, NRF2, LifeVantage is really, again, at the cutting edge of some major technology. I'm very, very proud. Okay, so quickly, we went over how activating works. Let's talk about activating what's called the NRF1 pathway. Okay, same concept. So this actually helps with our mitochondria. You may have known from your science class, or just in general, in health in general, if you know anything about health, mitochondria is crucial for us to live. In fact, when our mitochondria starts to decline and actually die, we probably will not be alive within 30 seconds to a minute without healthy, viable, amazing mitochondria. So mitochondria helps our bodies to really produce the energy. It converts it into ATP, which we all need. And it's compared to the engine block of our cells. So Protandim, our company, LifeVantage, took Protandim and said, what else can we put together that it's, again, all natural and actually activate another major theory of aging, which is our mitochondrial theory of aging and health. So when we can support that, and what it does is it mitochondria reproduces itself, and when it reproduces itself at a lower vibrancy, we start to lose, the decline of lots of different functions. You can look that up again on PubMed, as well as Google Scholar, I believe it is. But when we as LifeVantage found out a way to, again, talk to that cell, promote the vibrancy of the mitochondria actually reproducing itself, we found great, great benefits, some of them including improving sleep quality. And I say that first and foremost, because that is literally one of the biggest complaints that I get as a health practitioner and counselor is please help me with something that I can sleep. Because guess what? When we're sleeping better, we're repairing better. When we're repairing better, our whole systems, even our cognitive ability is much, much better. So we're supporting the cognitive, brain health, circulatory, cardiovascular, obviously our energy factories. And this is absolutely amazing. So again, NRF1. And the next one, the last, is NAD. And I'll be quick about this, guys. I know that we're running a little over. And this is, again, all natural. This came on the scene probably a good couple of years ago. And really what it does is, this is fascinating. Dr. David Sinclair did some studies for decades around this, again, trying to figure out another reason why we age. And he realized, okay, intermittent fasting, everybody's seeing the benefits of that, scientifically. Let's take it a step further. Caloric restriction, 500 to 800 calories per day for really long periods of time. Our bodies, he noticed, were going into boop, 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 survival mode. What happened in the cell was absolutely amazing. What happens is NAD, which is a molecule found in our cells, normally it's wasn't even noticed before. When we get into this fight or flight system and we're about to kind of expire, or, we're fighting for our lives, it increases naturally, feeds a family of proteins called sirtuins. They go into the cell, pull apart the DNA, and this is kind of paraphrasing what he said on an interview, really beautiful interview, pulls apart the DNA, fix what's defunct, puts it all back together, and then vacuums out the outside of the cell because, it can go cattywonker with all of the neuroreceptors, not knowing what it's doing. And that whole process is called autophagy. And that is what is projecting us to actually live longer lives, Dr. David Sinclair hopes to live to 120 in a 56-year-old mind and body. That is absolutely amazing. So that's what I'm signed up for. I hope you are too. Here's our whole line. I won't go into it, but just real quickly, we talked about the anti-aging trifecta. As Kehal mentioned before, we take gut health and our microbiome very, very seriously. In fact, Susan on this call does a gut health call. In fact, it'll be this Wednesday if you'd like to tune in to learn more about your microbiome. Smart weight management system, when we can, help our bodies metabolize better. Oh my gosh, the results are amazing. Smart energy for my brain is absolutely hands down one of my favorite. That's our Axio. We target all that NRF2 activation to your brain along with other supporting herbs that are amazing. The same science goes into our hair care, skin care, which rates 0 to 2 on the Think Dirty app, which is amazing for low toxicity. And of course, our pets, you guys, our pets are our main heartline most of the time to our health in our families. And so when we can reduce their oxidative stress and increase their lifespan, what great effect that has on our health. So in closing, we're no longer supplementing our deficiencies, no longer chasing our tails. We're literally activating our pathways to control the aging and healing processes. That's Dr. Brett Brimhall. He's one of 3,000 medical professionals that are in LifeVantage that have seen the potential of this with their loved ones and their clients. How do you get started? This is how. Subscribe and save is the best way to do it. It's $127.99 a month. Think about it, guys. When you break that down, it's $4.17 daily. That is probably less than most of us, depending on which part of the country you're in, venti Starbucks that a lot of people are, find a necessity in their lives. If I could tell you, please just remove a little something so you can add the quality of life as well as the longevity of life into your world. I would highly recommend starting on this regimen. If you're really serious about not only yourself but your family, here's a way that you can actually take advantage of some packs that we've put together where you save, as well as we share a start kit with you. And what that does is that allows you, because 60% of our customers actually want to share their good news. You can share with the samples that we give you in that start kit. But this platinum pack right now, I do have to mention, because we're moving over into some new packs next month, we are actually discounting this start platinum pack to $999, but the retail value of that altogether, if you were to buy it not on subscription, is over $1,900. On subscription, it's about $1,700. You guys, it's a phenomenal deal, and that would last you and your family probably a good couple of months if you're serious about getting activated and taking control of your health. If you're interested at all in taking control of your financial well-being, that was me as a single mama. I needed to find a way that I could provide and support and still be able to be at home to raise my son. We are now in over 22 countries, and we're about to open up the Philippines, and because our message is so great. So if you think that you could invite somebody to listen to something like this, please do get back with the person that invited you. So that is it, you guys. I am going to stop my share. I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being on. I won't go too far off the track, but mahalo, everyone, and thank you for my guests for sharing today their true loving testimonies. So aloha, everyone.
Mahalo, great job.
Yay, mahalo.
Thank you.